Let me give you a concrete example. The odds are at least 50-50 that a couple of weeks ago, you had never heard of me. Now you're watching my video and you're part of my community. That's because I'm doing a launch. Even if you're just starting out, it works the same way. When you do a launch, you start attracting prospects into your world with your pre-launch content, and that builds your list. And you don't end up with any old list. A launch will give you the most engaged, warmest list you can imagine because you deliver great free content during your launch. Okay, another huge big picture strategy is the massive position you get. I'll go into this more in video 4, but basically this means that doing one of these launches is the quickest way to become a recognized expert in your field, and that brings lots of extra benefits. Now on to the awesome product launch parachute. Now, I know that might sound a little funny, but it's important. This is the deal. You don't need to get all this perfect. You don't need to get all this right. You can make lots of mistakes. I like to say you can mess up 80% of this and you'll be okay. And now that's not a scientific number, but the point is that it's a very forgiving process. There's no single point of failure because your launch is a sequence and you're getting feedback every step of the way. And you have the time and the tools to get this right. That's a true luxury. Now, with launch stacking, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I covered it in video 2. If you haven't seen that one or you want to review launch stacking, go watch video 2. There's a link at the top of this page. The one thing I'll say about launch stacking is that once you learn this launch process, you'll keep using it over and over. It will become the core of your business DNA. Think of it as your marketing operating system, and it will keep on growing with you, and the results will keep on growing. Okay, so moving on to the peel-off tactics. The mental triggers and the sequences are the heart of the product launch formula. I covered these pretty extensively in video 1. These are the things that make peel-off timeless. That's why it's been working since I started developing it in 1996 and since I started teaching product launch formula in 2005. Sometimes people ask me if the launch formula is going to stop working or if the market will get saturated. But the reality is that the core formula for telling a great story is thousands of years old, and it doesn't change. The formula is the same, and it's tied to the core way our brains work, and it's not going to change. Some of the specific tools are going to change over time. For example, we couldn't use online video when I first started out because it basically didn't exist. And I guarantee that the tools we use in our launches will continue to evolve. But once you learn peel-off, you'll keep using it for as long as you're an entrepreneur. Since we covered the sequences and triggers in video 1, I'm going to move along. However, be sure to check out the Blueprint PDF for more details. Now, let's move on to offers. And there's one big thing I want to focus on with offers. This was a lesson I learned very early on in my business. And I think this lesson was literally one of the most important things I've ever learned in business. If you take nothing else from this workshop but this one lesson, then the time you've invested in this training will pay you back 100 times over. Now here it is. You need to be absolutely ruthless about only selling what the market wants, not what you think the market wants, or even worse, what you think the market needs. Now I know this seems obvious, but it's absolutely crazy how many people make this mistake. And if you've had trouble in the past in business, I bet you might well be making this very mistake. This is one of the most powerful hidden benefits of the launch process. If you've been watching these launches from the outside and you're trying to reverse engineer the formula, this is something you completely miss. You see, as we move through the pre-launch and even the pre-pre-launch, you get all kinds of market intelligence into what the people in your market want and what they just don't care about. All the comments coming in, the reaction to your pre-launch content, the questions you get, they're like an X-ray or an MRI that tells you exactly what your prospects are looking for. That's what I call the launch conversation. And that conversation is a secret weapon that you use to create your crushing offer. You know, I've been on the inside of so many promotions and launches, and the thing I've seen over and over is that when you get the offer right, the sales just come flying in. The difference between an offer that really misses the mark and a great offer that hits the mark is just breathtaking. When you have a crushing offer, it almost sells itself. The launch and the launch conversation is how you get a crushing offer. Okay, moving on to the 8 types of launches. In video 2, I covered the 3 primary types of launches. That's the seed launch, The internal launch